The following is a rebroadcast of TV50's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Eaton 50 Sports and the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association present Candlepin Stars and Strikes. From Sandy's Bowling Lanes in Windham, featuring the best Candlepin bowlers in New England.
Split it. Look at this.
Yes! Oh, wow! Right in the pocket.
Oh, there was never a doubt about that one.
And now, your hosts for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, John Brown, and filling in for Dan Murphy, Gary Duffy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Sandy's in Windham and Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Doug Brown, and filling in for Dan Murphy, as you just heard, Gary Duffett, who, of course, has been in this position before. So glad to have you back, and welcome.
Well, it's always nice to be working with you.
We're back for this new season now. We're in our 6th week, and, of course, we have a brand-new ladder series starting today after Steve Vadnais won the Valley Window and Siding Championship last week, and Steve Vadnais, ironically enough, is going to be with us again next week to meet the winner of today's match. But first of all, let's get to this one. We will meet our two bowlers now. First of all, our number 6 seed in this brand new ladder series. Both these guys have been with us before. The number 6 seed will be Scott Williams.
Scotty is one tough bowler. He was Pro Bowler of the Year 2 years ago. He throws very hard. He's got an awful lot of turn on the ball. He's going to be a tough competitor today.
Scott has been with us before, in fact, a total of 4 times. He has won 2 and lost 2 in his previous appearances on the program, and he came up with a roll-off score of 634 to qualify for this particular ladder series. Now, just 3 pins ahead of Scott in 5th place, and the number 5 seed for this series is a guy who was just here a few weeks ago, Bob Francoeur.
Bobby's been around longer than you and I have been alive. He's been bowling for over 40 years. He was one of my first doubles partners 20 years ago. He's a great favorite in this area, been a strong competitor for a long time.
And he'll probably never talk to you again now.
I always wanted a chance to get even with him anyway.
All right, we're going to be ready to go with the first string of our match. We're up to $100, by the way, in our bonus ball contest at the end of this week's show. But we're going to get right to the match right after we get to these messages. Don't go away. All right, here we go. A brand new 5-week ladder series on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, and here's the way they'll stack up. The match today, as we told you, Bob Francoeur against Scott Williams. The winner will face Steve Vadnais next week, and then in the weeks ahead, Jerry Myrick, Mike Poulin, and then our number 1 seed, Jack Ray. This is going to be a very, very tough series, Gary, for somebody to come all the way up through from the bottom. It's going to be certainly advantage, I guess, to the top 1 or 2 guys in this one.
Yeah, I think this is one of the strongest series I've ever seen.
All right, we've got a first match coming up that should be a great one in itself, and Scott Williams is set to go on lane 32, and we'll get it started here at Sandy's. This is Scott's first appearance here in quite a while. The last time he was here was January 20th of 1985, and Scott undoubtedly remembers that day very well because he rolled a 407 that day and lost to Pat Pay, who threw a 428.
Yeah, I think I was here that day. Pat was just about unbeatable.
Scott overall is 2-2 in his 4 previous appearances here. He made his first appearance with us back in July of 1984, July 22nd to be exact. And on that day, he threw a 380 and lost to Peter Flynn, who threw a 442. And then Scott came back in January of 85, as we mentioned, and he won 2 weeks, threw a 415 and beat Peter Surratt. Then the following week, he threw a 394 and beat Bruce Cyphers by 1. And then in that 3rd week, he lost to Pat Pay 428 to 407.
Okay, that's the match I remember. Scotty started off the first box, hitting the head pin a little full. Second box, here he's off to the right. We were talking before the match, and he told me he's struggling with his game a little bit. Hit the right pin, just hit it in the wrong place. Aim for the nose of that wood down by the 4 pin.
And
Nice.
takes it out for the 10.
Nice 10.
So Scott Williams opens up with a 19 pair. And that leaves the door open for this man, Bob Francoeur. And if you've been with us since we restarted the new season, you've already seen Bob a couple of times. He was here during the last ladder series. He was the number 4 seed.
There's a good first ball. Bobby's one of those guys that just keeps getting better with age.
And there's the single for the spare to start off for Bob Francoeur. Now, Bob was with us 4 weeks ago and beat Skip Davis with a 366. And then the following week lost to Bob Moran, who rolled a 402 against him. Bob Francoeur ended up in 4th place overall in the previous ladder series, so hoping to do better this time. But as we mentioned, it's going to be very tough for someone to climb all the way up in this one.
Ooh, tough break there. He had to get more of the 3-pin, though, than that. He was just trying to hit that 3-pin right on the nose.
So Bob Francoeur with an early 6-pin lead after the first 2 frames. Nancy Davis keeping score for us on the big board.
Scotty throws a lot of strikes when he's bowling well.
And I don't think I've ever seen Scott bowl without the headband.
Yeah, that's one of his trademarks. Now, this is a nice little shot. He's going to try and hit that the wood with the nose looking at us, just on the right-hand edge. Flip everything to the left. Just like that.
Very
Super
nicely
shot.
done. First mark of the day for Scott Williams.
That was well done. That'll be a little bit of a confidence builder.
The final roll-off for this series was held at Hillsborough, and it was held in 2 separate shifts, so some of the bowlers bowled and then left, as they often do, without really knowing whether they had qualified for the show or not. And Scott, after rolling his 634, figured he was out of it. He
Sure.
was very disgusted with his last 5 boxes. He told me he missed a couple of single pins, and he missed another single pin with a plank in front of it, and had a 5 count on a strike, and he was very, very upset with himself, and he thought for sure that those last 5 boxes had cost him an appearance on the program. And then, of course, he got the call later on informing him that he had finished 6th, just sneaking in.
Well, 634 is still a respectable score. And
Just say it's really nothing to be ashamed of.
no, and especially when it's posted too, it's not always that easy to catch.
Right. Being in the clubhouse with the score.
He's got a ball coming back on the lane.
.41 through 4 for Scott Williams.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to go pick up that ball. There goes Nancy now.
So Bob Francoeur with the early 6-pin lead, and he'll be coming up opposite a spare now for Scott Williams in the 3rd.
Yeah, Scotty had the head pin on that spare, but it was just a little bit too full.
Bob Francoeur on the head pin again.
And that's generally where he is. He's very steady, very accurate. Just missed that one to the right.
Bob with a very deliberate style. Doesn't throw the ball hard.
As a matter of fact, he throws a little harder now than he used to.
And like he did a few weeks ago, he's brought a lot of folks with him to cheer him on.
Ooh, tough break there. The old 5-7 split. Got a little piece of wood as a guide. Just try to cut the 5 on the right-hand side.
Oh, he's got a chance. Oh, hit it a little too
A
full.
little full. Good shot. Bobby's been coming in on the 1-2 pocket. He really scores better on the 1-3.
Interesting thing about Scott Williams' approach, you can see his feet there when he starts his delivery. He has his feet at kind of an angle, which is something you don't see very often.
Yeah, he's always done that. He's got a unique style, but aside from the footwork, if you follow his motion, he does just about everything exactly the same way every time. He's got a nice follow-through, good deliberate approach. And a couple of years ago, he was just about unbeatable.
Which is largely really what this game is all about, is the mechanics of it and trying to throw the ball the same way every time, much like a pitcher does.
It's all muscle memory. And it doesn't take much, just a little tiny thing can completely change your game around.
Dan and I were talking a few weeks ago, Gary, about how some bowlers now, particularly with all the opportunities to tape their performances on television and so on with VCRs, etc., are getting more into the taping of their appearances so that they can really analyze what they do and see what they're doing wrong and kind of put a little more technology into it than maybe had been there in the past.
You know, the interesting thing about that too is that generally you'll do that when you're struggling, and you want to try. There's a nice shot by Scott, but you'll do that when you're struggling to try and see what you're doing wrong. But what you really need to do is you got to have a tape of when you're bowling well, so that you have something to compare against. I'm speaking from experience because I never saw myself. I never had a taping of when I was doing well. When I was struggling, it was really hard for me to pick out what I might have been doing wrong. And people will always tell you, well, you're doing this different, or you're doing that different, but okay, Bobby just missed the head pin, but he's got a spare leave there. Just wants to split the 1-2.
He's right on it.
Nice shot.
He's got it.
Yeah. No problem with that shot at all.
Second mark for Bob Francoeur. And Bob now slides over to lane 31.
Oh, there's a ball. He carried that 1-2 puck at that time.
Strike on spare for Bob Francoeur, and he extends his lead as Scott Williams steps up in the 7th. And Scott has really had a problem punching through.
That's 4 straight balls where he's gone right through the middle. That's a tough situation. He's going to have to do something a little bit different, maybe even just move one board left or right just to try and change the angle a little bit.
It gets to the point, I would imagine, where you can really drive yourself crazy thinking about all the different options you have to try and change your luck. I remember the last time you were here as a bowler, I remember you went to a different bowling ball in the middle of the match because you were trying to adjust to the lane conditions. Great 10 for Scott.
Nice 10. Yeah,
we were talking about that, trying to adjust to the conditions of the lanes and trying to do things a little bit differently.
Sometimes it's more psychological than anything else. I don't know how much difference it really makes, but I've had times when it's worked for me. And I just don't believe in staying there beating your head against the wall without trying something different somewhere along the line.
No, and the ball almost came back
there. He really didn't want to get that wood anyway. He was trying to hit the shot to the right of the 3-pin. But it could have gone.
And you might have heard Scott gasp as he let that one go. He knew he had pulled it.
Yeah, Scotty's digging himself a deep hole here.
Bob Francoeur is on a strike.
Now these are the kind of shots that Bobby's had good luck with over the years. He's always been very skillful at making cut shots like this. Just wants to get down and just nick the 2-pin on the left, right between the 2-pin and the wood.
Got a chance, yes!
Like that, I tell you. It's been doing it for years.
I'd say you called that one pretty accurately.
Yeah, he would have made that whether the wood was there or not. That was just a nice shot.
And another head pin hit and another spare leave.
He's getting pumped up now.
Well, of course, you make a shot like that tends to get you into it.
Yeah.
Another one.
He's got it. He's got that little turn on the ball, and even though he hit the pin full, he got the pin to splash a little.
And that's 4 marks in a row for Bob Francoeur, and Scott Williams takes a look at the scoreboard knowing that he must start soon.
He's either missing or going full so far. But Scotty's not out of this yet. He's a very explosive bowler. I've seen him throw 180 games before.
And his high single is 215, and there aren't very many higher than that.
That's for sure.
Although one who does have one higher is Jack Ray, and he's our #1 seed with a 220. And another guy who's been with us before.
Mr. Smooth.
Mike Poulin, who's the #2 seed in this series, has also been with us before. And as we mentioned, next week, the winner of this match has the misfortune, perhaps, of having to go up against Steve Vadney, who has just owned this place.
All right, Scotty's still struggling here, but he's got a spare lead. He needs one to get him going. Just wants to throw a strike ball right now.
This will go if he hits the object. Well, a little too full again.
Too full. It's going to be a tough start for him.
Well, Scott is not going to want to save the tape of this one. I can guarantee you that. 94 for Scott Williams, and a little time to think and perhaps regroup before beginning the next string.
I'm surprised he went for all the pins on that last shot.
Meanwhile, Bob Francoeur has 4 in a row and a chance for 5.
Same shot as the one he just had. It's been right on that head pin.
Not this time.
Just missed.
I come back in the 10.
And that'll be a 9 for Bob. So 130 with 1 frame remaining.
43 pin lead in the first game. Well, better in the first game than at the end of the second. For Scott, anyway.
Beautiful hit, and there's strike #2.
Got that alley 31 wired.
Both his strikes have come over here.
And both on identical hits. Solid in the 1-2 pocket.
One more time.
Well, this will be the best string Bob Francoeur has had here on the program.
Beat it up.
In this, his 3rd appearance.
Help yourself.
Watch out. Almost. Gave it a ride, didn't he? A 149 for Bob Francoeur and a handshake from Scott Williams, who knows he's got some work ahead of him. 149 for Bob Francoeur and 94 for Scott Williams. We'll be back to give you details on how you can enter our home bonus ball contest and second string action right after these messages. Don't go away. Bob Francoeur set to lead things off on lane 32 with a 55-pin lead after 1 string, thanks mostly to that stretch of 4 marks in a row in the middle of that first string.
And Bobby really took advantage of it. Scotty left about 10 pins standing. Bobby left 2. So that's like an extra mark right there.
Watch it. No, the 4 pin stays.
Almost got that on the outside. And he keeps pinning. That's always been a big part of Bobby's game, is that he doesn't leave many pins left on the deck. It's very accurate.
Bob works at Nashua Corp. Lives in Nashua with his wife Teresa. Their 5 children: Bob Jr., Roger, Leo, Constance, and Gary.
He's got a rough wood here. He's going to have to play this way out on the right-hand end and just hope he gets a good break. It's a good-looking shot.
Yes.
Well done.
Nicely done.
That was very well done.
Mark number 7.
Just the way it was supposed to be done. Drove everything into the wall.
Scott Williams now hoping to get things started, and he starts with a 9 drop, and that's
Yeah.
the best ball he's thrown all day.
That's been the first spare leave he's had in quite a long time.
Really have to drive this wood. He does.
Sometimes when things aren't going right, even those shots are tough.
Second mark of the match for Scott. And again. And this time he'll take them all.
He was due. He was due. He can throw a bunch of them in a hurry.
Come on, Dad.
Bob Francoeur now on a spare as we come back to action.
Bobby's breaking up those splits. He's getting a little bit full, but the ball is working well for him. Just wants to forget that that wood is there and just split the 2 pins.
Yes. Got away with one there.
Not the way it was diagrammed. There you go. That wood can hurt you a lot of times, but it can also be your friend.
Hit the cap. He's fortunate.
That was probably the worst ball Bobby's thrown so far. But he got a good little splash out of it.
A 5 fill on the spare, and not this time.
And he'll just try to work this for a 9 box. Which he does.
52 through 4. On the other side of the board, Scott Williams has apparently made an adjustment or two.
Well, he found the pocket. And when he's in the pocket, his ball carries. He's got a very strong first ball.
Full again.
There's nothing more aggravating than doing that on a strike. Just pick the 3 you want and try to cut one side into the other.
Oh,
Which
just
he did.
like that. I don't know how he missed it. He sent that pin flying
Right
through there
between them.
and never knocked anything over.
But he pulls out a good 7 count on the strike. And he's got a chance to have a 9 or a 10 box.
And it'll be a 9.
Anytime you can come out of a spread eagle like that, you feel like you've done a good job.
We haven't seen one made in a long time, although we've had some close calls recently. Scott didn't like the way that ball was going, but it ended up not too badly. He's got a possible spare leave here with the 2-7.
Yeah. Now the way he throws his ball, I would guess that he's just going to go straight at the 2 pin and hope that the ball is a little bit on the left side of the 2 pin and goes in and takes out the 7.
That was
right
it.
there.
Without the wood, he would have made it.
Sure.
Good spare for Scott Williams, and he is starting to put things together. 46 with a spare up in the 4th. Bob Francoeur at 52 through 4. The second string continues from Sandy's after these words. Bob Francoeur set in box number 5. Second string. He is really taking the extra pins.
Yeah, he's got a. Well, let's see what happens with this wood. If it comes over and touches the 3 pin, he's in great shape.
The 3, the 6, and the 7.
He's going to have to make a shot. He'll want to try and he'll want to split the 3 and 6. Cut it right into the wood.
Not quite.
No, matter of fact, if he'd gone a little bit more on the outside, he would have gotten it that way too. Every pin is going to count here.
And
Always.
Bob made a wise move there, waiting.
Yeah, always wait for that rolling wood.
Someone called a balk on Bob in the stands. I heard it.
Almost the same hit. On the
And
other
look
side.
at this. 7-10.
This is going to be a tough one. I would play the right-hand wood here on the left-hand end, but Bobby will probably go down at the 7 pin. Oh, he played it where I thought. Not an easy shot.
And it'll be a 10, but 2 open frames. And Scott Williams already working on a mark.
Yeah, he's letting him back in. Not a good move.
Scott's best string here in his previous 4 appearances, a 161. Catching the head pin on the side that time, another spare leave.
This is not an easy one either, especially the way his ball breaks. He'd like to hit the 3 pin on the right side.
3, 5, and 10. Got it.
Well done.
Mark number 5 for Scott Williams. Scott works at the USM Corp in Beverly, where he lives. And with a good fill here, he will really start to chip into that lead of Bob Francoeur, and he takes the 7 pin.
Oh, watch this.
And there it goes. Wow.
That's the one he was waiting for.
Couldn't see it at home, but Scott turned around and just gave Bob Francoeur kind of a, I didn't mean it just happened.
Well, he went a little bit full, and as you can see here, it looks like he's going to get a split, and then all of a sudden, they start falling down.
Bob Francoeur right back. But this time he'll have a split. It'll be the 6-7.
Now this shot can go. Bobby wants to get just to the right of that 6 pin. What a shot.
Wow.
What a super shot.
Scott Williams is applauding that one.
It's just exactly where he had to be. Here you go. You see you got a little bit up on the wood to the right of the 6 pin. Moved everything left.
A little full on the head pin, but he will carry the extra pin.
He got the tough pin out of there. Boy, he's got a bad wood here, though. This is going to be a difficult shot. He's going to try and hit the 3 pin right on the nose.
Nope.
That wood in there made the shot a lot more difficult than it normally would be. As you can see from that.
Right.
The ball just hit the nose of the wood and bounced out.
Well, Scott Williams is on a bit of a roll here, as you can see.
Scott is right back into this thing now. And the lane 32 is the key, though. He's had trouble on that one lane.
Lost it. You probably heard him.
Yeah. He really wanted that double strike. But fortunately, he is on a strike. If he throws a good ball here, he can still get a nice count.
He has cut the lead. Oh, my. Oh, is that a big one?
I think somebody pulled the rug out from under those pins.
Wow.
Here you go. You can see he just hits it thin. This is the best way to make that shot.
That was the strike ball.
Actually, it was a thin hit, but it exploded everything the way you need them.
He has taken 31 pins off the lead.
Now that was a good ball, and he couldn't carry the 7 pin. But he's got a decent wood, and here he'll be looking to hit that right around the red line of that wood to move the 5 pin left into the 7.
Picks up another pin. He has now taken 32 off the lead. No, although he almost got the favorable return of the ball. And Nancy Davis will go down and take care of that loose ball for us.
Let's see if it goes in the gutter for us. There you go.
And of course, every pin very, very critical at this point, as Scott Williams has cut the lead from 55 down to 23. And he picks up 2 more there. So now the lead is 21.
He's right back in it. Just 2 marks away.
Bob Francoeur in the 9th. Big hit, and he'll carry it.
That's his pocket. You get that ball coming in on the 1-3 pocket, he generally gets a 9-pin drop or a strike. Nothing wrong with that.
The 1-3-6.
Just wants to run it right down the line.
Missing the object.
Just by a hair. Still going to have a respectable score. But Scotty's got a crack at a 170.
It'll be a 126 for Bob Francoeur.
275 for 2 is not too bad.
Not at all. Scott Williams now. And back to the punch out.
That alley is really giving him fits. Now here, he'll probably play the 3 pins on the left, try to cut the 2 pin over to the right. Good try. The general rule of thumb there is to play the least number of pins into the most, which wasn't the case that time, primarily because there was a piece of wood in the gutter, so you want to take advantage of that wood.
140 with 1 remaining. Scott would like to come up with a mark here in the 10th because he lost 10 pins in the 9th frame to that strike 9. And he'll have a shot at it. Clean shot at the 7 pin.
Yeah, he'll go straight at it.
And he'll take it.
Yeah, he got a good little carom off the cap there. If he'd been a little bit further right, he would have been in big trouble.
That's 7 marks in this string for Scott Williams. 150 plus a ball. $157. And that puts him right back in the thick of things. He'll still trail by 24, but a much better situation now than he was moments ago. The totals after 2 for Bob Francoeur, 275. And for Scott Williams, a 251. Take a look at it on the board, and we'll be back with string number 3 right after these words. Scott Williams trails by 24 now after mounting a comeback in that second string.
He wants to throw a good ball here on 32 to get himself off to a good start.
Well, I would say that about did it.
Can't throw it much better than that.
And he gets his 9th mark. That's his 3rd strike.
Big start here is important. Get Bobby to think a little bit. Get your own confidence up.
And another half Worcester.
You could see him just pull that ball. But he got a spare on this shot before. Same situation. Looking to make at least a big count.
Lost that one a little bit off to the right, but he'll come out of it with an 8 fill.
Yeah, he's still got a good fill. Work this out for a 10 box. 28 for 2 is not bad.
Well, he'll have to settle for the 8. So Bob Francoeur will come up now. He has 10 marks already in the match, including 3 strikes. On target, but a little full.
Well, it's similar to the shot that he made before. It's got a couple extra pins. Just cut the 2-pin over to the right. Now with the lead, he wants to be a little conservative, go for a 9 box.
And he'll get it. Reminder that after the match is over, we will have our bonus ball contest. We're up to $100 this week. Hope you have your postcards in.
Oh, this isn't bad. Should help him a little bit. All he really needs to do is just nail the head pin. Just go for the head pin full.
1-3-6. And he came back to get it. Didn't want to hurt the pins at all.
I think somebody watched over him on that shot. Here you go. He hit it thin, but it came off the wall. Cut the 6-pin, which came a little bit forward, rolled up. And there it goes. Now Scotty, after seeing that, has to get up on the alley that's giving him fits and punch through the middle again.
Taking out the 1-5-8.
Yeah, now here, again, play the least into the most. So he'll play the 2-pin and try and cut it to the right. Just like that.
Right.
Doesn't make it an easy shot, but it's your best chance. Still came out of it with a 9.
Needs marks, though. That mark by Bob Francoeur in the second will pretty much even things up in this string. And of course, Scott trailing is at a bit of a disadvantage, having to bowl first here in the 3rd string, so he just has to put something up there and hope that it's enough.
Yeah, there's no defense. He's just got to come out with a good offensive show.
Now that 9-pin moved off the spot quite a bit, so it'll make this shot a little bit easier, the 6-9. Well,
still didn't help him. You know, you were very correct in what you said, but that's when you're going to punch that shot, there isn't much you can do about it. It's maddening.
He'll take the 10, but 2 open frames is the big story. And Bob Francoeur will now fill a mark in the second.
And Bob wants to come back with 2 here, 2 marks that is, put a little bit of pressure back on.
A little thin.
Yeah, he actually turned that ball over a little bit, and it kind of came in a roundhouse way. The shot here is a good way down on the left. Try and hit the left-hand end of the wood.
Nice try.
Just take your pick.
9 box. He's lost 2 more pins of his lead, so it's now 22, but he's opposite an open frame here.
Mark here would put him in pretty good shape.
He'll have apparently a clean shot at the 6. Yes.
Yeah. Just forget about the wood. Go straight at the pin. No problem.
That's a big mark for Bob Francoeur, and we will break away. Bob with a 33 and a spare up in the 4th. Scott Williams trying to come from a large deficit with 45 through 4, and we'll be back for the rest of the match right after these messages. Don't go away. Scott Williams looking for marks. He has 6 frames remaining.
He needs to throw a double strike here.
Well, he knew he was going to be full, but it's a makeable shot. The 3, 6, 7, 10.
Just hit the 3-pin full on, and it should go.
Wow. How would you figure that? The
Yeah,
10 pin.
That's one of the reasons I said to hit it full on. If you get a little bit to the right with the wood up against it, the ball deflects to the right, and that's just what happened. It just went right off into the gutter and around the 10 pin. It's a tough break. If the wood hadn't been there, he probably would have made the shot.
And it's a 9.
Missing those singles is going to hurt him. I think Bobby's gained about 8 or 9 pins throughout the match, just on pinning.
And a piece of wood flew right between the 4 and 7 and did nothing, making this a very tough shot.
Very tough. Just want to touch that 3-pin on the right-hand side. Gave it a bid. Now at this point, he really should go for the 9 box.
And he'll take an 8.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Well, all Scott can hope now is that Bob doesn't run farther away.
Yeah, this really takes a lot of pressure off Bob. Seeing that Scott didn't get any marks, he can be pretty loose up here now.
This is on a spare, remember.
Bring it home, bring it home.
Good 7 count. Play that the middle wood up above the red line.
Nope.
Very close.
And yes. The lead is now 30. And a mark here would make it very, very difficult.
Yeah, this wood isn't really going to help him. Well, it's going to be tough for him to get around it. Just go straight at the 5-pin. Ooh. Shows you what I know. Bobby knows that he didn't exactly hit that where he wanted to.
That's his 13th mark. And Scott Williams continues to punch out.
Alley 32 has just done him in today.
Again, he gives it a try.
He made a nice shot at it.
This will be 6 open frames in a row and not the time to do it.
Picture book 10. And now he needs strikes, strikes, strikes.
You can tell when Scott throws a bad ball because you can usually hear his reaction.
Yeah, he gets a little upset with himself. Give it a nice bid.
Bob Francoeur coming up, working on a mark with a chance to really put things away.
Well, it's all gravy now. Now he's shooting for his 400.
And he will need a 125 for that.
Okay, it's a makeable shot. Just wants to cut the 3-pin, move it left.
They have it. No, not quite enough.
A little too fine. He probably missed that by a 32nd of an inch.
The lead now 39. He's opposite another open frame. Loses that one a little to the left, but he ends up with something that isn't too bad considering the 1-8.
Just punch the head pin straight back.
That's it.
Good shot.
He's marked on lane 31 every time this string.
Yeah, 32 seems to be a problem for both bowlers, I guess, at this point.
And Scott Williams finally catches break, but it may be too late.
I'm afraid so.
Really needed all strikes at this point. He'll take the spare, but even if he were to throw a triple right now, it wouldn't be enough.
Would be exciting, though.
It's always fun to see one. And that may give you an indication there of how Scott is feeling about this match as he used the wood for that spare instead of the clean hit when he had the opportunity.
Yeah, actually the wood was a tougher shot than going for the 2 pins.
And it's an 8 fill for a 118 for Scott Williams. And a 369 total.
All right, back to back.
Well, this will be good for Bobby's morale. He'll need to be pretty pumped up going against Adney.
All right, bring him home.
Seems to be a lock for the 400 now. That'll do it.
All right, Daddy.
First time he's marked on lane 32 in this string.
Throw the bomb. Throw the bomb. I like it. All right.
And a chance for mark number 16.
Shouldn't have any trouble with this one.
There it is.
Clear the deck, Dad. Clear the deck.
The last ball, and Bob Francoeur has an outstanding triple. It'll be a 141 and a 416 for Bob Francoeur, and a win over Scott Williams with a 369. We'll be back to talk to both bowlers and see if we can't win someone some money in our home contest right after these messages. Don't go away. We're running a bit short on time, but we will say hello briefly to Scott Williams. Scott, I know the second string was more like what you wanted, but the first and third, not exactly, I'll bet.
It's all Gary's fault. He made him mad by calling him an old man. So.
Well, we do have a check for you, Scott, for $50, a plaque from the N&R Trophy Company of Winchendon, and also the copy of Jim Fairhurst's book, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you again soon. Thanks for coming back.
It's been fun.
All right, Scott Williams from Beverly, Massachusetts, and now Bob Francoeur on lane 31. For our bonus ball contest, and we're going to see if we can't win someone $100. So let's see what we get here. Hope you have your postcards in. All right, it's going to be a 4, his first bad ball of the day. Come on over, Bob. And it is not a match, surprisingly enough. Betty Pinkham from Reading, Massachusetts, guessed 8, so Betty will be getting a TV50 NHCBA desk pen, and Bob, real briefly, the best match you've had with us.
I was very lucky, really. I remember last time that you notice how I had trouble with lane 31. Well, this time was just different, just the opposite. I got all my marks on that particular lane.
And now Steve Vadney next week.
Oh yes, yeah. He's a, as I know him, he's a good bowler.
Well, we'll be looking forward to that one. We'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, Bob Francoeur, our winner this week. For Gary Duffett and the whole TV50 Sports crew, Doug Brown. So long, everybody, from Sandy's.